This is a waterproof hard case with foam for action cameras, and you pick and place the foam yourself so you can make all of your accessories fit how you like. So I was sent this to review for free. If you wanted to purchase it, I've seen it for sale in the range between $35 and $43. So in the box you get this hard case, and it has a TSA approved combination lock on it. And you can basically set this lock to whichever 3-digit combination you want. If you're flying with it, the TSA will be able to open that with any TSA key. So the case here comes with a little bit of instructions. They have kind of some suggested layouts of different types of cameras. And here you have the 2 layers. So this top layer has some cutouts already done, and there's some places where if you have a small camera or a bigger camera, you can take this little piece of foam out. And then the bottom layer is pick and place, and so you pick out these little squares, and there are maybe a ½ inch type cube squares that you can pull out to fit any particular accessories that don't fit these particular cutouts here. So it has a little air valve here. They say to make sure it's tightened before use to make sure it's waterproof, and if it's difficult to open because there's a vacuum inside, you can unscrew it to loosen, let a little air in to open it. But that should only become an issue if there's a pressure differential. Now this upper level is kind of pre-cut, and they have some suggestion here of, you can put a GoPro here, you can put a dive case there, there's some slots for micro SD cards, there's some places here that would hold batteries, and then this is just a general compartment for like a handheld flotation device, or some type of a handle. Now on the lower level, it's called the customized area, and basically that's your pick and place where you can, pick out foam in any particular shape you want to match whatever you have. So this is sold pre-cut here for kind of the GoPro sized camera. Now I have the DJI Action 5, and that does sort of fit into this slot, but it wiggles a little bit. And so I could either make a spot for it in the customizable foam or just accept that it's going to wiggle around just a little bit. I mean, once this guy's in here, we will have this eggshell foam on the top pushing down on it and holding it in. So I'm not too worried about it moving around too much. And then, I have something that'll fit here. It's not quite exactly the same. So the combination lock comes set to 000 by default, but you can change that. There's a little red switch in here. You flip it to the set position, and then you can change this combination to anything you'd like. So for example, if I do 1, 2, 3, then we take this thing here and we put it down to the off position. And now when I close this case up and I latch that guy there, the original code of 000 won't unlock it. But if I change this to 1, 2, and 3, now that will unlock it. Now obviously this is a lock that can be defeated by any TSA key or just kind of ripped off. It's not going to be super secure, but it definitely makes it more difficult for somebody to open this without you noticing. Obviously the entire case is small enough that somebody can just pick it up and run off with it, so you also need to hook the case down to something to really prevent the whole thing from being stolen. Alright, so the space in the bottom of the case that's customizable here is about 10 inches by 7 inches by 1 and just over a half. Not quite 1 3/4, but it's a little more than 1 1/2. So anything you want to put in this foam needs to be less than 1 1/2 inches thick. This foam here is a pretty hard foam. It has like a plastic thing on the bottom, so it's not going to have a lot of squish. It's not like the eggshell foam in the top here where you can push into it a little bit. So pretty much anything in the bottom compartment is going to have to be less than 1 1/2 inches tall to really make this top compartment fit down on top of it. And then this top compartment here, you can see that some of these things are sticking up a little bit, but that's okay because there's the eggshell above it. So the top compartment, the thickness there is closer to an inch. It's like maybe an inch, almost an inch and a quarter. The insets here are definitely just under an inch. So the instructions kind of suggest that if you have a Insta360 or a Go 3 or a DJI Action, you might put it in the bottom customized area. They don't say what this removable bit is for. Presumably if you have something that's a little bit bigger here, maybe with a case or a cage on it, you can take that out and use that larger hole. You know, the Action 5 is a pretty close fit to the GoPro hole here. Now from a waterproof hard shell case, this guy feels pretty rigid. I mean, I can make it indent a little bit by pushing on it, but it's a relatively small case and it feels like, you know, it is pretty solid here. It has two holes here you can put padlocks through, and seal wise it has a rubber gasket in this gap and a nice little lip that goes all the way around. So it does look like it's going to seal quite well here. You know, obviously you have to have these cam locks pulled down to hold it in place. Handle's pretty comfortable to carry. It looks like if you had multiple cases of a similar style, they would stack on top of each other and kind of whack together. Alright, so I'm going to go off and gather all of my accessories and figure out which ones fit where in this case and see if I can set everything up. Alright, so here's how I've set stuff up. I have some of these little bits inside of other bits, so you know, they can fit in there a little better. I have, you know, some small accessories kind of jammed in the battery compartments because I only have one battery right now. The handles here, a lot of little screw-in things. And then on the layer down here where I removed the foam, we had, you know, charging cables, battery charger, screen cleaning cloth, metal frame with cold shoe extra cables and connectors. And then over here, I have this filter pack, which is stupidly big, and it would take up like a giant part of there. So I just took all the individual filters and put them in tiny little plastic bags, and then kind of stuffed each of those internally to the foam here. So that's how I'm keeping the filters. So the only accessory I haven't really been able to fit in here is this backpack strap snap mount. Maybe I could have got it in if I pushed things over and did a little bit less foam, but I decided, you know, it really doesn't need protection. And so, you know, some of these things are, you know, pretty heavy duty and they're probably not going to really need that much protection anyways, but it's nice to kind of keep everything as one package, you know, just all together like that.